man, you just got to be able to compete. You getting, because you are in a young man's game, and even though you still got a fan base, and there's still people 40 and 45 and 50 who still listen to music, and they still might want to pick up a 8 CD or Ice Cube or whatever, but you got to have some good shit. You can't just put out anything because you got a name and a fan base. And that's my number one point when it comes to niggas from my generation who still want to dabble in this game. You have to be able to create something that's official. You can't just put out no garbage, and that's just point blank.
At any stage. Now, hey, I saw you on, I'm trying to remember the podcast, it's with Court. It's a viral.
Yeah.
I saw that it's a viral clip going around. I even reposted it. Basically, the quote is, you're saying like the early stage of LA rap, West Coast hip hop, in your opinion, was either trash, or you said something to that effect. The techno music, the electro music, the dance music, before NWA, before Ice-T, before Toddy T, you were saying LA rap was trash. I feel like it's gone back to that. I feel like it's kind of like a 360, a full circle moment. We've gone back to where it's like TikTok dance, everything's clown dancer music. We're right back where we started.
You get some shit started. How you feel about that?
Like me as a young nigga coming up who would take summer vacation trips back to down south, and I had older cousins who they got music from the East Coast before we did. So to go down to those places and to hear, those early rappers coming out of New York, and then to come home and turn on the radio, and we had none of that. You get me? It might have been a few who were trying to get to a level of sustaining West Coast hip hop, but to me, it was all dancey, technotronic. It was all, it wasn't what we are today, or what developed from Eazy-E and Toddy T in that. And so I felt like the music didn't give us justice on the West Coast before niggas like Ice-T or niggas like shit. We were banging Schoolie D, you feel me? Because that was gangster shit to us. Because you had gangster niggas way before hip hop and rap music. And so our go-to was Zap and Parliament and Marvin Gaye and shit like that. Because I don't think we had a decent representation of us in the neighborhoods until, early Toddy T, Mixmaster Spade, Mixmaster Ken, and then with the development of Easy and NWA, we got out of that Bobby Jimmy and the Critters, and we got out of the Wrecking Crew era, and I don't like to diss niggas because they be thinking I'm dissing, and I'm just giving my opinion of what I heard. That's what I heard coming out of.
Thing about it though, it was a lot of whack music. Like I've got the ultimate respect, man, for what's my boys? Yes, we're here, the dream team, and all that.
Even I bang the shit out of Egypt. You get me? I bang the shit out of Egypt, and my beat goes boom. And what is a DJ if he can't scratch? That started, to me, was waking up our element of West Coast music, because it wasn't, like I said, Wrecking Crew had turned off the lights. That, and they were, I don't know, Lonzo had that direction. You feel me? Which was, nothing was wrong with it, but it wasn't NWA. You feel me? It wasn't Toddy T. It wasn't Mixmaster Spade. And as a young nigga, 13, 14, growing up, introduction in the streets and gang banging and niggas selling dope and seeing police and getting all this motherfucking information, the music didn't match what was going on in the neighborhoods. Now, not to say niggas wasn't going to the clubs and partying and doing their thing, but I was 14 years old. I wasn't going to no motherfucking clubs. I was on the streets. So the street music didn't reflect until we started hearing Schoolie D, PSK. We heard 6 in the morning. We heard Toddy T and Mixmaster Spade underground tapes. And so the development of our music started. And so it kind of pushed out.
Development of hip hop street music started.
It pushed out that form of what was before that. You get me? Which to me was a lot of dance, technotronic, fast, upbeat, let's just party and have a good time.
Understand something. LA before Gangsta Rap, before those groups that 80's mentioned came around, right? You got to remember something. The whole dance sound, LA was very dance driven, right? A lot of Aquanet sets, a lot of just techno music. A lot of people don't even know the sound that they call Miami bass originated in Los Angeles, California. That was a guy from Riverside, California, David Mr. Mix Hobbs. The Two Live Crew's whole sound came from the West Coast.
I did not know that.
Mr. Mix is from Riverside, California. He's from Riverside, California. He took that sound to Live Crew to actually release the record through Macola first, right? With him, Awesome V and them guys, they were in the military at the time. When Mr. Mix came home from the, from being in service, right? His mom kept telling him, hey, this man from Miami keep calling y'all. He wants y'all to come down and perform. The record that got big, and it got big in Miami. They didn't even know it. When he went down there, he brought that sound with him. You remember the Egyptian Lover and all that other stuff. That's all West Coast stuff, bro. The 808s and all that stuff. So pretty much the sound that wound up being the foundation for what the South became comes from the West Coast.
Comes from West Coast. I think my relationship to it would be, or the closest I would have is, so when I was in middle school, the jerking era was popping off. And to me, obviously, it's not the most respectable form of West Coast music. The lyricism isn't there. We didn't get any classic bodies of work from it. But the jerking era, which is dance music, bullshit dance music, some would say, it got mainstream attention back to the West Coast at the time we didn't have it. So it seems like there's this recurring theme where dance music, techno music, like electro music, fast-paced music kind of gets the party jumping, and then following, so we get a resurgence of real MCs. It seems like it just keeps going in
You
circle.
know what, though? The thing is, the one thing you can't do, though, Dejan, all that stuff has its place in the branch of hip hop, right? You got to have, to me, the West Coast need more rappers like a Will Smith. You feel what I'm saying? Everything don't have to be a gangster rapper. I think that's why you have so many guys out here that's really not from a gang. A&R told me one time, man, that in order to get signed to be from California, you had to come from a gang. Which
I remember when Gentry said that.
Yeah, you had to be from a gang. That's not necessarily true. It's a whole bunch of cats out here that's not from nowhere. Now they may live in the neighborhood, but that don't mean they necessarily gangbangers.
And we've had a lot of artists who have developed from the West Coast who didn't necessarily take that route.
John Kennedy.
A lot. We if you want to go back to my days, we had the young MCs. We had the digital undergrounds. We had the Souls of Mischief, on the West Coast. We had a lot of artists, my man KD, who was from who was signed to Q. You had a lot of artists who didn't take or represent the street route.
Farside.
Everybody Farside, exactly. The alcoholics. You give me everybody have their lane, I believe. If you make significant good music, then it really doesn't matter as long as you can make and sustain good music. If you can make songs that people can relate to, and whatever the genre of it is, you gonna have fans and you gonna have music that you can sustain. Now, if you just trying to get in the booth and create a song to diss the ops, or you just trying to make something catchy, like you said, to go on becoming famous is the name of the game now. So if I can create some shit on TikTok and have everybody sing along to it and make a dance day. But like I said, everything goes around full circle. It always has when it comes to hip hop. It always has when it comes to cultures and trends. 30 years ago. They selling that shit in a vintage store today. You get me? And motherfuckers going in there and buying the shit. Uh, it just of age and feeling like they want to hear something different than what's been going on. And that's usually what happens. You get an artist to come back. It comes with a different sound that's just that people feel like, fuck that. I want to do that now. You get me? So